Hey bestie, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. Join the bestie crew. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. In this video, I'll be showing you guys how I put a full set on my non-dominant hand. So let's get into the video. Alright y'all, first step, we are going in with prep as always. I already pushed back the cuticles, and now I'm going in with my first cuticle bit remover. I love this bit, you guys. Of course, it's linked below. It just gets all the dead skin up. Now I'm going in with my cuticle ball bit. This bit does get up the rest of the dead skin as well. I do kind of over prep my right hand because I'm right-handed, so I want to make sure I get up all that dead skin. I want to make sure my nails stay on. Now, of course, I'm going in with my sanding band to go ahead and take up all the shine off my natural nail, so that way all the product adheres to my nails. Y'all, so cutting your cuticles, I think, is an extra step. Like I told you guys, I over prep my right hand to make sure my nails stay on, but I definitely do cut my cuticles. My cuticles get real bad on my right hand because that's the hand I use the most. So yeah, I'm gonna cut them babies off. Okay, you guys, I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, how are you doing this on your right hand if you're right-handed? I've been doing my right hand nails for 3 years, y'all, so I'm used to it. I very much know the flow of it. But if you're new to it, don't be discouraged. It is a difficult process, but you can still get it done. You might move your hand around in all these weird different angles, but definitely try it. Definitely use your armrest because that'll help you as long as your hand is steady. It definitely helps a lot more, and I'll get into more tips while we're doing the application. So I'm going in with my favorite tips from Galore. These are the square C-curve tips. I think they're extra long. Now, the first thing I do is I cut the length that I want, so that way I'm not struggling to cut the length on my right hand. And then I cut the sidewalls off, the pointy part. You guys know, if you do nails, you know what I'm talking about. I clipped those off because I feel like I end up filing those off anyway. So I just feel like my nail sticks on better when I have those sidewalls off. So I'll go ahead and clip them babies off with a nail clipper. Also, cutting the tip of the nail off before I glue it helps me know that my nails are the same length because I use the number. I like my nails long on both hands regardless, so I use the number as a guide. I usually cut only a certain amount under the number, so that way I know all of my nails are the same length, and that helps me with filing. I don't have to overfile or do all this crazy mess with my right hand because I know that they're the same length. We trying to work smarter, not harder, bestie, because doing your non-dominant hand is already a struggle. For a smoother application, I do go ahead and file down the tips where it meets my natural nail. That way it's just smoother and it's a flat surface when I apply my acrylic. Now, part of my normal prep, I double dehydrate anyway, so I go in with Young Nails Swipe, and then I go in with this Mia's Secret dehydrator. And then we're gonna hit it with some Young Nails Protein Bond. I put on 2 layers of Protein Bond because I know how I get with my right hand. This is probably one of my favorite pink acrylics that I have. I'm obsessed with it. But y'all, for application, you guys, I always start holding it with my right hand, my dominant hand. So I pick up the acrylic with my dominant hand, and then I switch over and place it on my nail with my left hand. I work with smaller beads on my right hand. Usually when I'm doing nails, I only do a 2-bead method, but on my right hand is whatever, how many beads it's gonna get me there. So I do start my first bead putting it on where the nail tip and my natural nail meet. That's the first spot I put the first bead. Then my second bead, I go a little bit below that. And then my third bead is usually my cuticle bead. Now, most of the time I do have to go ahead and put acrylic beads where I see fit. So if I feel like it's too thin or if it's lumpy, I try to flatten that out as much as possible. Now for the cuticle bead, I do take a thicker bead, and I want to make sure that it's like a medium consistency, not too runny. And I do move my finger around a lot. I do want to make sure it's face down so that gravity pulls it down and it doesn't fall back into my skin. And you want to make sure you clean up all your sidewalls as much as possible while the bead is still wet. That way it's less filing for you, and then there's no lifting. There's so many different positions you can hold your hand while you're doing your non-dominant hand, whatever feels comfortable to you, which is why you'll see me flipping all over the place, because it just depends. I'm trying to make sure that the bead stays straight on the nail. So if it's too much to the right, it's going to start flying to the right. So I try to, even it and go back to the left or flip it around. Also, when I'm doing my right hand, I do use the tip of the brush a lot. I like to use the tip of the brush to make sure that the acrylic is being placed in the right position. That way it's less cleanup. So with this nail, I did go in with 2 cuticle beads, I think because I paced the first one up too much. But I'm doing the same thing. I do have my hand down, and I'm trying to clean up those sidewalls as fast as possible, as still blending it in with the nail. Now with this second cuticle bead, you guys, you'll see that it is a little bit too wet. So I did flood my cuticle, which is not a problem. We can fix it. You just want to make sure you go in and clean up those sidewalls as quick as possible. This acrylic powder does not set super fast, so I have time to go around and clean up my cuticle as much as I can before the acrylic ends up setting. With my bead placement, I do always try to place it in the middle first and then blend it left to right. That way it sits in the middle of the nail, it's not flying all over the place. And I also try to wipe my sidewalls so that way I don't lose the shape of my nail. Y'all, the main thing that helps me do my non-dominant hand is making sure my fingers are down. I promise you guys, it might feel uncomfortable doing it, but make sure when you put your acrylic on that you have your finger down so gravity pulls it. If you're holding it up so you can try to see it a certain way, it's going to go right into your cuticle and it's going to make you mad. So make sure you have your nail pointed down when you're putting on your acrylic. So I wanted to show you guys the cuticle process and how I do it in real speed. This is how fast I'm really going, y'all. It's not super fast. Now, that first cuticle bead I put down, I immediately start to blend it in, at least on one side, and then I flip my hand around and blend it in on the other side. Now that it's smoothed out and blended in on both sides, we're going to just blend the middle in so that it flows with the whole nail. And then now we're going to start cleaning up our sidewalls. See how it dipped in a little bit on my left side? I'm just trying to swipe that and make it even and pat it back down so that way it's still on the nail, but just not on my skin. You'll want to make sure you do this on both sides to make sure that there's no acrylic on your skin to avoid any lifting. The way I have to hold my pinky nail on my right hand to do it is so uncomfortable, y'all. If y'all have another way to hold your pinky nail, please show me, because this literally gives me a cramp. But I mean, it works because I have my nail facing down, so that way gravity pulls acrylic. So I guess for those of you doing your non-dominant hand, the acrylic process is the most difficult process, but it is definitely doable. You just always want to make sure you use an acrylic that is slow setting. Don't use one that dries super fast. Then you want to make sure you're always holding your nails down to gravity to pull that acrylic, y'all. I'm telling you, it helps so much. Even if you mess up the placement of the acrylic, if it's pulling it down, you're fine. You can fix it. Also, you just want to make sure you clean up those cuticles extra good, y'all. So that way it avoids lifting. You're not filing forever. Now, once that acrylic is completely dry, we're going to go in with our medium tapered comb bit, and we're going to seal our cuticles. Now, easiest way I found to do this, you guys, is to move your finger, not really the drill. So if you see me, I'm moving my finger left to right, so that way it flows left to right on the cuticle rather than moving the drill all over the place. Now I'm going in with my medium barrel bit, and I'm using this just to basically smooth everything out, to smooth the cuticles flat down, and to make sure that there's no more acrylic on my skin. Next, we're just going to perfect our shape with our 80-80 file. Now, I follow the same way I do my left hand, honestly. I just start on the left side, then I move to the right side, make sure that's straight, and then I do the tip of the nail. Now we're going to go in with starting the design, and the first thing I do is I go in with a layer of matte coat to make it smoother. That way it's easier to put my French tips on. Also, when I'm painting my nails, I do the same thing like I said with the drill. I move my fingers around, so that way it's getting the product on there evenly and I don't have to move my left hand all over the place. So I'm moving you see me turning my hands, makes it a lot easier. Now it's Frenchie time. So the first thing I found that's the easiest way to do French tips, you guys, is using a long art brush. This brush is from Amazon. I have a link down below for you, bestie. So I do Frenchies the same way, regardless what hand I'm doing. I do like a V-cut, add the arch, and then I fill it in. Now, when you're doing your non-dominant hand, you want to make sure you have your fingers on the armrest, but you're turning them. That way, your left hand, all it has to do is move up and down and basically paint on the nail. You moving your nail left or right or moving it around helps you get the different angles that you need to get, as well as keeps your hand steady. That way the design is straight on your nail. Now I'm going in with the nail polish brush and I'm just filling in the tip part. Now I do go on the sides as well with my nail art brush to make sure the French goes all the way down on the sides. And since this color is lighter, I do go in with 2 coats on the French tip. Once we cure our French tips, now we're going to go in with base coat. We're going to use base coat to keep the design in place. You guys, I promise you, when I use base coat, my designs do not chip anything. So use that base coat. And lastly, going with your finish coat, I'm using glossy for these French tips. And here's how they came out, you guys. Comment below what you guys think. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I promise I'll answer them. All the products I used are linked below. Of course, I got you. Come join the Bestie crew and don't forget to turn on my post notifications so you don't miss an upload. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you need a spot, baby, we can start.